Hi everyone, welcome back to Kavreads. So, I feel like before we begin, I should do a little cards on the table. It's been a while. You know, I'd love to sit here and cite loads of reasons, valid reasons as to why I haven't been making any videos, but the truth is, there just really isn't any. Because you know what I didn't expect going into this challenge was the fact that I would actually have to read the books. I won't call anyone lazy, but if anyone else, watching is otherwise motivated, not motivated, then you'll see where I'm coming from. I was just hoping that all of this would magically come to me. And it didn't. But here we are again. And it's lovely to see you all. Well, I can't see you, but you know what I mean. Also, the vigilant of you may notice that I'm not in my room. And that is because my mum took the table out of my room so she could use it for the sewing machine downstairs. I didn't really get a say in that one, so that was filming in my room, out the window. So here I am, in this room that has a lot more natural light than mine. So I don't need all the lights I've got. And without further ado, let's get straight into this bad boy. A Fine Balance by Rohinton Mystery. Thumbnail. So yeah, before we properly crack on with this bad boy, just a quick word from our sponsor. Dooby dooby doo, oh yeah, this is Kav's jazzy tune, but with no instruments. And a big thank you to them for sponsoring the video. We wouldn't be able to do any of this magical stuff without you. It really means a lot. So, what I liked about this book? Short answer, everything. The first time I had ever heard of this book was when I saw it on the list of books that I'm supposed to read. And generally what I do when I see a new book, I go on Wikipedia and I like to see how long the book is, because I like to plan out how many days it's going to read me if I read a certain amount of pages per day, because like I said earlier, I'm otherwise motivated. And I saw this was, well, I can tell you how many pages it is, 614, which, well, like I showed you earlier, it's a big boy. It's a real big boy. From about 20 pages in, I was just absolutely hooked. I think the only reason why it took me so long is because there's so much of it. If this was like a 300-page book, I literally would have read it in like a week. But because I'm otherwise motivated, it took me. I don't even know what my last video was, but I'm really happy to be doing this again. Nothing makes me happier. No, I prefer Nando's, but some stuff makes me happier. Everything about this book is just perfect. It's a completely fictional story, yet you completely feel like, I'm just going to put this down, you completely feel like you are reading about actual people's lives. And I think one of the things that really resonated with me is the fact that this book is set in India, and it jumps around the time period a lot. It jumps from 1930 and it kind of ends around the 1980s. It literally felt like I was reading about my grandparents and great-grandparents' lives. If you can't tell, I'm brown. It's not just a really good tan. I'm sorry if that's a shock to some of you. I know some people aren't really down with that, but that's me. So, my apologies? I'm not going I'm sorry for being brown. So let me tell you a little bit about the story. The main part of the story takes place from 1975 to 1984. So you get 9 years with these characters. But what happens is every time you meet a character, go into the entirety of their backstory. That can sometimes take 100 pages, and every single second of it is just so enthralling, and it's so devastating and heartbreaking because India was in just such turmoil at this point. So yeah, it kind of goes from following a very poor family in the 1930s to kind of, even middle class families struggling with urbanization, the caste system, partition, the emergency. If you don't know anything about this stuff, I'm the wrong person to tell you. I know it exists. I did an Indian history module at university so that I could win arguments with my parents about India. I haven't won any yet. I've realised I'm younger, and that means I lose every argument. Well, with these characters for a very, literally from them being born up until the end of the story. And you go through them with the good times, you go through them with the bad times, of which there are a lot. The book is prefaced with, holding this book in your hand, sinking back into your soft armchair, you will say to yourself, perhaps it will amuse me, and after you have read this story of great misfortunes, you will no doubt dine well, blaming the author for your own insensitivity, accusing him of wild exaggeration and flights of fancy. But rest assured, this tragedy is not a fiction, all is true. And I think some French guy did it. Maybe. Oh, I'm real close. All of it feels so real, and all, like, you know, when the characters are going through something hard, you feel that. You really do. So kind of next, what I've got written on my little whiteboard here is dislikes. And to be honest, my dislike is more semantic than anything. The font was real tiny. So for a book with a lot of pages and a tiny font, it was a lot. But obviously, that's just not that big of an issue. No, I can't really think of anything I disliked. Everything about this was just so well crafted. Everything about this was just so well thought out. And I enjoyed every single part of it. Yeah, I'm not sure how many people can emotionally resonate to this as much as I did. Like, it's a great book, but obviously I've come from a cultural background where this book, its meanings and everything are completely like amplified, because it's everything that I mean, like I said earlier, it's literally just about, like, I'm reading the lives of my grandparents and great grandparents, and well, my dad was born in Africa and my mum was born here, so you know, don't really count for them. I think there is something here for everyone, because I think if you don't know a lot about India, this is like a great point. I wouldn't say to start with. I'd say Wikipedia is maybe the best place to start with, but you know, I feel like if you want to kind of know more about Indian culture and Indian values and how much of a cruel place it was in the 20th century. 20th? Because the 1900s is, 20th century. Then yeah, this book is for you. I really can't recommend it enough. I absolutely loved every single time I sat down and read it. I loved it. And the only reason I haven't filmed the video up until now is kind of because I don't think I wanted it to finish. Like, the first couple weeks, the first like week and a half, I was reading literally 50 pages a day. I was absolutely cracking through it. Whereas, obviously, it's been ages since my last video. I've really kind of drawn it out because I don't think I can enjoy many more books than I did A Fine Balance. I don't plan out my videos. I did not realise how much I like this book until I started speaking about how much I like this book. As a final verdict, 10 out of 10. It's absolutely no competition. You know, it definitely, you know, The Hungry Caterpillar, it really, it tried its hardest, but it doesn't really tackle big issues. And of course, that was the other shitter I read. I hated that book. The Once and Future King. It's also worth noting, somebody commented this. One of my many thousands of loyal fans commented this. I think, you know, when I get to the end of my journey, or at least maybe I'll do it at every checkpoint or so often, I'll kind of rescore the books. So like, this has a 10 right now because I've not read anything better. But also I could give that a 10 too. Whereas like, if I read something like significantly better, then yeah, I'll probably bump this down a little bit. But as of now, this book is a 10 out of 10. I don't know the right way to say this. I don't mean to offend anyone. If you're from the Indian culture or you have an Indian background, this book is just gonna hit different. So yeah. Thank you for joining me. I'm just gonna put my glasses on because I can't actually see the stop button. Bye.